Greetings, a warm welcome to you all. Namaste. Hey, thanks for joining me. Virgo, this is your July 2018 reading with me. So we will be using these three decks of cards that you see in front of you, three cards from each deck, which should command a fairly comprehensive reading. Before we start with the cards, I did do some intuitive work for you, and you guys received the sort of energies about being upside down, possibly a feeling of things upside down. Now, a couple of you have had this in this month of July, so it's possibly around relationships, that you might think things feel as though they're not quite the way they should be, or where they should be, or where you'd like them to be. There's also a possibly of a lack of fertility around concepts or ideas, or possibly even physical fertility for some of you. There might be a frustration or a block somewhere in that type of area of either your body or your creative energy zone. However, I do see that there's a possibility for more freedom than usual, so you may actually be able to, even with these other things feeling like unusual or a different perspective, it may create more freedom in many other areas as well, and as I say, in an unusual way. You may have to look for it though, so you may think things might be stuck a little bit or upside down or topsy-turvy, but if you look a little deeper, you could find that there's a lot more freedom and availability for expression than you would normally perhaps find. It did also mention to count your blessings and to meditate with the sun in mind, so sun or solar gazing or meditation involving the sun, and this could bring expansion for you. So with no further ado, let's get into the cards and shuffle for Virgo for July for 2018. And just get your intent into these cards. So three of these. Okay. Man holding a heart. The sun, and we talked about the sun, and a woman holding a heart. Well, Virgo, it does look as though perhaps relationships might be on your mind or might be occurring in the month of July. So let's see what the John Holland Psychic Tarot deck have to offer for you. Shuffling these with your intent. There's definitely a lot there about the heart chakra and emotions and relationships and love. So let's just see. Triumph, temptation, and what would be the Six of Swords, which is moving on. And we will now just do these three for you to finish off your spread. So those are two major arcana cards there, the Triumph, which is the Chariot, and the Temptation, which is the Devil. Let's have a look. This is for Virgo for July 2018. The Three of Cups, the Page of Cups, and the Nine of Wands reversed. So I shall just move that into space for you. So certainly some of your cards have relayed the messages that we had in the very beginning that I mentioned about the sun, meditating with the sun, and the feeling that perhaps relationships might have been on your mind as well. So we definitely see that with those two top cards in the top row, the man holding the heart and the woman holding the heart. And also there are cup cards down here which also represent emotional energies, quite often relationship issues or energies, and things to do with the love of the heart and the passion of the heart as well. So we will be reading from the columns down this way. However, it's very mutable, and you can sort of move across any of part of the reading, and the messages can be transmuted or attached to other areas as it suits you or as it feels as though it makes sense. We will start over here. So we have the man holding a heart, triumph, and then the 3 of cups. So there's a lot of emotion in this particular column, and there's a lot of feeling and a lot of heart energy. The man and the woman, both holding their hearts up there, do resemble very similar energy. Now the card in this particular oracle energy deck talks about the fact that relationships may be on your mind and that you have been trying to perhaps work through some issues around them. They could be, from the perspective of the male and the female, this one could be relating to messages to do with men. For some of you, we'll get to this point straight away because it's easier to address. For some of you who are looking, this could be the chance or opportunity of a new romance coming into your life. So it could be a new man coming into your life for some of you, and for some of you it could be a new woman coming into your life. So yes, romance is part of the energy of these cards. However, there's kind of a deeper perspective to them, and they were originally designed from the person who did the deck to mean that works are being carried out around relationships that need some sort of energy put into them. So if there have been any problems or issues within your relationship circle, now this includes your family, so it could be mothers or fathers or grandparents or brothers or sisters or children or siblings or aunties or uncles or friends or work colleagues, so anything you can think of. But if you have had sort of a tenuous or a stressful situation or something where there has been a lack of flow, a lack of connectivity, and a lack of perhaps free love going on, this could be being made available to be healed or to have a situation move forward. Now this could even be in the way of mediation or talks or resolution or just something resolving, some sort of block that might have been there that is able to be just suddenly dissipated or reduced in tension or size or energy or something. So they are positive cards about healing and activation and allowing past issues to be dealt with and put to bed as such and moved on. And they both pretty much mean the same thing. So you've had duplicity of the meaning of the energy coming through your reading with the two cards very, very similar to each other. So another perspective we could look at too is that the hearts could relate to physical heart. So some of you may require physical heart health checkups, and that could range anything from blood pressure or cholesterol levels, or having a heart angiogram or a heart echogram, or even a heart operation, or it might be someone you know who is going through something like this as well. It could also even represent that you people, that you Virgos, are the people who are helping others out in a compassionate way around relationships. So there's many diverse meanings, especially when two of these came out in the top row of your reading. It's kind of like they are emphasizing the emotions of the heart or the relationships in your life or the physical heart, one way or another, for the month. But coming back to this column, underneath we have the Triumph card, which is the Chariot. And these two here are, major arcanas together, but in essence so is this one up here, the Sun. So the Triumph card always represents that, even though traditionally it's known as the Chariot card. It represents power and passion and success and movement and moving forward. And that's what we've kind of been saying. The man holding the heart might be allowing some sort of movement forward. And from that, there could be a feeling of success or positivity. Sometimes this card can literally mean moving, as in shifting houses. Sometimes it refers to cars, or because, funnily enough, this is a horse. And when you think of cars, they are horsepower. So it can refer to vehicles such as cars, and it can sometimes mean you are going on a car trip, so driving somewhere. Sometimes this can be for a holiday, but it can also represent going somewhere for the movement of forward of things. So it can often represent a change of residence or a change of job or career direction as well. The Triumph card often means that you feel as though you are regaining some sort of physical prowess or capabilities back again as well. So it holds a great deal of inner strength and inner power. It's very much a card about yourself and regaining some sort of confidence, either at the emotional level or at the physical level. So a great positive card. And then we come down here and we're back in the heart space again with the Three of Cups. So this Three of Cups often represents three females, and the card is referred to often as the sisterhood of life, when we get that camaraderie of friends who stick together and who support each other and help each other. And although it's three females, it often does represent that. It doesn't have to just refer to female energy. It could be three men together who are showing the feminine side of life, which is love, caring, companion, nurture, support. So we've seen it from up here, this support, love, possibly coming in, caring, the resolution of things. And we see it down here as well. This card also represents community, and it represents that feeling of connection when people cohesively work together to bring resolution to situations. It can also literally represent social events and outings and occasions, and sometimes this is the celebration of a birthday or an engagement or a wedding or a family reunion or a school reunion. There can be many different meanings behind this card, but it usually bodes very positive, happy memories and good times and fun and activity, especially associated with how the heart feels and how it feels happy. And we also have that right next to it, we have the Page of Cups as well. So there's definitely feelings of emotional connection for you guys in this month of July. And in July, I think we do have these eclipses coming up. So whatever feelings and moods and events are taking place around about now, these could traverse through for the rest of the year and leading into 2019. And they quite often, when the eclipses occur, they quite often put us into a slightly different mindset or a slightly different activation of events that occur, because they tend to bring up the things that are hidden, so the subconscious, or the things that we've been pondering on dwelling with but haven't actually got round to doing. So that's what eclipses can help to bring out. Now we come to this middle row in here and we see the sun, and we talked about that meditation with the sun could be really beneficial for you guys. So grounding yourself, being outdoors with nature as well, because she's very much out here in a sort of a pool with water, but also plants and the fairy elements in life as well, so the elemental energies. If you're in the northern hemisphere, it is your summer up there, and it certainly is a wonderful time to be outdoors and explore that gorgeous strength energy of Gaia, and the connection of Gaia and the sun together is what gives us life on this planet. So if you can make that connection and feel the strength from it and heal your body or strengthen your body or nourish it with things such as meditations and grounding exercises and being outdoors, it could help to relieve any of this that's going on down here possibly. So the Devil card, another major arcana there for you, often turns up when we are facing periods of not necessarily darkness, such as representative on that card, but when we find ourselves stuck in a phase where we're a little bit either, unable to see a way out, so we become obsessed or addicted to something. And there's many different things in life that this could be. It could be eating or foods or drink or alcohol or drugs or shopping or exercising or people or relationships or working. There's anything. Obsessions really are just showing us that a part of our being is out of balance. And so to bring it back in balance, we do things such as meditate or exercise or balance our chakras up to get flowing throughout our whole system, our physical, mental and spiritual. The more flow we have, the less we tend to feel addictions creeping in. Sometimes this card can turn up when we experience unhealthy relationships around us. So this can happen if you have been in an abusive relationship where someone is taking advantage of you. And this could be a close romantic relationship, or it could be an overbearing or overpowering sibling or parent figure as well, or even a mentor in your life. So you usually know when it's not right because your integrity values aren't sitting happily. You can often feel ungrounded anxiety and tension in the background, and you'll feel yourself just at a subconscious level often knowing that it's just not quite right, but you're not sure what to do about it. So the Triumph card next door to it is also very powerful in saying that you could have great success in overcoming any temptations or any negative patterns or behavioural patterns or relationships that are around you. And again at the bottom we have this beautiful embellishment of love and positivity and nurture and harmony, which again is the kind of opposite of the Temptation card. So the Temptation card sits in between much love and light. So I think it's sort of a temporary juxtaposition, or it's something that you're able to deal with, or perhaps if it's been something that's been occurring for you for a long time, now there is a period of escape from it. There is some light coming through. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel, or there is something or someone around that is perhaps able to support you in moving forward and away from the darkness. And interestingly enough, we come over here and we see it again, the moving on. So when I started at the very beginning and I mentioned that we were reading down through the columns, but I said the messages can traverse anywhere through the reading. This row here in essence is talking to itself as well. So they're very interdimensional, the readings, and they really do hold quite significant messages at all points and all angles. Coming back to the Page of Cups, it is often about the offer of love. And this can be when new romance is around, or someone new coming into your life that you are really going to enjoy having them around. It could be a new friend, it could be a new neighbour, it could be a new child that turns up in your life, like a grandchild or a child of your own, or you might come across a new family and be a blended family, and there's a child in there somehow that just connects with you at the heart level. It can often represent the prospect of a love proposition coming, a personal romantic love proposition. So we do see this in 3 of the cards in your reading. So the man holding the heart, the woman holding the heart, and the Page of Cups. They do represent an offer or a coming together and a uniting of the heart, for some people for romance, but for others for this wonderful warm feeling. You know, when you meet someone new and you just really like them, it can be that type of thing. Now those can be quite intense soulmate relationships. We have many soulmates here on earth. Most of all of your relationships will be soulmates, but some are romantic and some are platonic, and some are for longer periods of time and some are for shorter, and some will have much deeper reverberations with you than others ever will. But there's a feeling right now that if you meet someone new, this could be a very lasting, very strong, connecting feeling of a soulmate person coming in. So sort of like your soul family or your soul tribe, a close connection. We'll come back up here. We've already discussed at length the woman holding the heart, very similar to the man. I do see a little bit of red coming through your reading as well. So perhaps that base chakra area of yours needs a little bit of activation around it as well, a little bit of moving. If any of you have had problems getting your finances up and running, or you've had a financial glitch, or you feel like there's something about your security or your home that's not fully balanced, or not moving forward quickly enough, or not distributed evenly, then that's the base chakra that you could activate, and that's the red in our life. So wearing reds, eating red foods, being outdoors and grounding yourself with earth, doing meditations for the base chakra part of your body, having massages and Reiki healing through that part of your body as well could be beneficial. But when we come to this card, which is the Six of Swords, this is also a card that denotes travel as much as the Triumph card does. So there's two travel cards there in one row. And it can be travel across water, if we're talking in the literal sense of the card. So some of you could be going on a trip that involves a boat and a car somehow. Sometimes this is a travel overseas, or sometimes it's travel from one part of your country to another that involves water, and perhaps a boat trip or a ferry trip. It can also mean that you are moving on from the darkness into the light. And in many terms, the Triumph card means the same. So again, you've had a double messages delivered within the reading about moving away from something that's been a little bit, less than you had hoped for in one way or another, and holding you back a little bit, or destabilizing you, or not grounding enough. Definitely see it with this card, which sits right in the middle of your reading too. So it actually holds, in many ways, it holds the most poignant energy, because it connects with every other single card in the reading at one angle or another. So given it's the middle card and it's the Devil card, but on either side of it you have cards suggesting you're moving away from it, it feels as though some sort of strength or energy is definitely coming back for you guys. So yeah, and we talked about that at the beginning as well, with the two people up the top offering some sort of re-synergizing relationships, or healing of things, or allowing passage forward. This card can often represent you have moved away from something physically as well. Sometimes again shifting house or moving residence, and taking someone with you often, so part of a family sometimes. Sometimes this card can turn up if there's been a separation and you're moving away from perhaps a relationship that was not balanced and wasn't stable and wasn't good for you, but you're taking some people with you, like children, or you take friends with you, but you leave behind that which is no longer suiting you. So yeah, the more we move into this, the more it jumps out as being quite an intense reading. And I think this plays into the whole ecliptical energy coming as well. And perhaps that's what the sun's energy message was for you in the whole beginning, that you might be quite affected by the eclipses coming. And your last card here, the Nine of Wands reversed, as the last card of the reading, moving into August, it's suggestive of the fact that you need to be gentle with yourself and other people. So it says, know your strengths, and remember that kindness and weakness are not the same thing. Show kindness as often as you can now. There's definitely some leeway coming for compensation for something you've been through, or how you've been feeling, or what has been going on in the background energies. So it's like you may have been cross at yourself as well as some other people in your life with the things that have happened, but definitely the last card is telling you to go easy and know that the road is coming to an end, or a situation is taking change. But certainly when it does do that, we should be able to move forward and leave behind without too much aggravation or non-necessary kind of like, I told you so, or I was right, or glad to see the back end of you type thing. You move through with grace and acceptance and growth, and take the positives with you, and realize that any negatives that occur within structures or relationships or situations, they still teach us. They teach us a mighty lot. They're what make us strong. They give us wisdom and insight and ability to know what's right and wrong too. And they often rebalance us, and they reconnect us with our true desires and integrity values of life. So there we are, Virgo, quite a strong reading in the end, but a lot of support and a lot of moving forward and a lot of healing work going on, and certainly some great triumph for you and some wonderful moments of enjoyment with people and events and occurrences for July as well. So thank you all for tuning in. Remember to check your moon and rising signs, because you could find very interesting information within those as well. And also leave your comments. I love reading them. And thank you for liking and subbing the channel. So have a wonderful July ahead, everyone. Much love. Namaste.